Johar. It's a pranam equivalent for tribal people. Okay, I want to ask one quick question. How many of you have visited remote Naxal-infested tribal village? Can you please raise your hand? Not many hands out there. In fact, not at all, except one or two. All right. So I want all of you to close your eyes. And as you do that, can you please close your eyes for a moment? I would like to take you to those remote tribal village. Can you imagine a family having two grown-up daughters? Now please open your eyes. Sorry. Can you please imagine a family having two grown-up daughters using same set of clothes? When one daughter is going out of her home, the other prefers staying back. Can you imagine a village where 70% of people are bonded laborers? And they even struggle to have even one meal a day. Can you imagine a remote tribal hamlet where patients and pregnant women are taken on shoulders just because there are no roads at all and no medical facilities in close vicinity? I'm sure you have heard the case of Dana Maji, right? So he was staying 50 kilometers away from the hospital, and he drew worldwide sympathy just because he was carrying his woman's dead body, his wife's dead body on his shoulder, and had to walk from hospital to his home for miles. He couldn't afford to hire a vehicle. And as you can see, his daughter was crying and accompanying him on his daunting journey. We say India is a superpower. India is on the move. So now these are few of the feel-good, catchy good headlines that of late have hogged the limelight, right? With reams and reams of newsprint being devoted to describe how Indian economy is growing or developing, and it makes us believe, okay, fine, we are doing good at almost every front, be it education, infrastructure, healthcare, food security. But are we really developing? Are we really developing altogether? No. I had the chance to work in remote tribal village, so I will be sharing few perspectives here. Like, India is developing for past few decades, but Indian Adivasis have been left behind. As you can see, Indian Adivasis, they are so close to nature. They are known to live harmoniously with nature. But still, in the name of development, we are pushing them and changing their ecosystem. Why is that? Okay, so as a kid, I was born and brought up in a very small town in Odisha. So I had the chance to see how the tribals are being they're being ill-treated by mainstream society. Why is that? I'll be taking, once I'll be big enough, I'm going to save the world, right? So just like the same kid. But something happened. All of a sudden, something happened 3.5 years back that my view totally got changed about how world works. Now this is my ancestral house. As we know, in Eastern India, Durga Puja is celebrated with great vigor, right? And hundreds of people, hundreds of devotees came to visit and have glimpse of goddess. But this tribal woman named Sukinna Maji, she's old tribal woman dressed in rags. And priests, they didn't let him have the glimpse of goddess. I was kind of stung by the irony that we worship goddess, we offer our puja to goddess, and in the same vicinity, an old tribal woman is being ill-treated. What kind of hypocrisy is that? So then I came back to Bangalore, where I was working, and this plight of tribals, this plight of this old woman kept nagging me, and I thought of quitting my job. But then I wasn't able to decide from where I'd be starting. I was so blank, right? And this sudden feel of anxiety was running within me. What should I be doing? And my friends joined me. Few like-minded individuals, we landed in this Naxal-infested villages. I never been there. So there were so many problems. I didn't understand the language. I was not able to understand the language. They were speaking broken Oriya. And when I went there, they totally didn't, they were so unwelcoming. Even the kids, these couple of cute kids, even they didn't like me, right? So they used to tell me that in our village 3 to 4 ghosts would be there and they would be scaring you at night. In fact, they released 4 to 5 lizards in my room and I had pretty tough night. So we wanted to interview these women. We wanted to understand their problem, what the tribal problem is like, because I felt I was on top of molehill. And to understand their problem, I have to get down my molehill and be involved in the community, right? So we wanted to interview tribal women, but village elders and male members of the society, they won't let their women speak to strangers because they thought we are a group of outsiders who have come to exploit tribals. And then when they got to understand our business model, they were so welcoming. They considered me as their own family. They gave me the privilege to understand the best and worst of their lives. From taking part in festivities to preparing and sharing meals together and sharing horrible stories of how they lost their children because they had no money to afford healthcare and or because of Naxal attacks, right? So I met, while I was visiting this village, I met Hariya. He is an 8-year-old boy. He told me, he was literally crying, as you can see his sad face. He was literally crying while narrating his story that he has his mother and he just realized 2 hours back he lost everything, his home, his land, everything. Then we had lunch together. I handed him 200 rupees and he was like, what would I do with this money? You fed me for today, how about tomorrow, day after tomorrow? And this is how this 8-year-old kid taught me about sustainability. So like if you give man a fish, you feed him for a day. But if you teach him how to fish, you give him food for lifetime. So then I thought of starting a self-sustainable social enterprise. For who doesn't know what social enterprise is kind of perfect amalgamation of business and non-profit. So we kind of generate profit and we channelize that profit for social impact. So I am the founder of Vriksha. It's an organization that provides diversified and sustainable livelihood opportunities to tribal women. So our organization is not about just women, it's about change makers. I remember when I was kind of I was exploring the village, we got death threats, in fact, from Naxals, that you have to leave our village. Still, we're so determined to impact positive change in these communities. We provided around we provided business and financial trainings to 17,000 tribal women across 4 states, in Odisha, Jharkhand, West Bengal, and Chhattisgarh. Now they are like 20% of them are new entrepreneurs, and 13% are planning to start other second new businesses, right? So when we started organization, we started with this one audacious belief that anyone can be a change maker. If tribal women, marginalized tribal women, if provided right training and opportunities, even they can outperform a college going grad. And that's what we did. I will share the story of 3 tribal women who are very successful and very inspiring, at least for me. I'm sure you would be able to connect to their stories. The young woman over there, he was considered a witch and was suspected of practicing sorcery and witchcraft in her village. Her villagers, they kind of threw her out of her village because they thought if she would be around, their village would be in danger. And while she was narrating her story, she was literally crying. She was left to beg on streets of Baripada, a small town in Orissa. But little did she knew that her hand-woven products would find place in wardrobes of Europeans. She didn't know about it. Because of our initiatives, her hand-woven, very incredibly beautiful hand-woven shawls, they have market in Europe now. So now she says, I'm living the life of dignity. I look beautiful when I make other women look beautiful through my hand-woven products. And the woman in the right, she was an exploited migrant worker. Because of our initiative, I saw her life transitioning from an exploited laborer to an independent farmer. She has been growing variety of organic crops. She told me, recently I installed a biogas plant and now I don't have to send my kids to collect woods and water anymore. Now I send them to school. And last but not the least, in the middle, I'm talking about same old woman Sukina Maji. Now she has been featured in Forbes, she has been featured in Entrepreneur magazine, Times of India, Indian Express. She was the same woman who was abandoned by her own son, own family. She was a widowed mother, but she was not taken care of, right? Because she was dressed in rags, even our society ill-treated her. But now, because we imparted positive training to her, business skills, now she's known for her bamboo products here. As you can see, these bamboo pieces, they're burnt for like 2 to 3 hours, and then fine art pieces are done here. I didn't travel all the way from Bhubaneswar to Jaipur to tell you about my story. I didn't want to empower these women. I wanted to create change makers and role models in their societies who could induce positive change in their community. I wanted a holistic system of services and intervention by which we can provide these people necessary tools to elevate themselves out of the poverty. I want to tell all of you that any one of us can be a change maker, no matter what job you hold, what title you hold. Anyone can be a change maker. It's up to individuals like you and me who can change the world. But oftentimes what happens is we tend to get into these petty debates without doing any real action. We don't care about what's going on in the outside world. We kind of don't expose ourselves to different world, different harsh realities. We don't do that. So anyone could be a change maker. Try to disrupt the society. Try to be a change maker. There's light within every one of you. Light within me, light within you. You do everything possible to make that light shine brighter. Because this is what our world needs. You will fail. People will tell so many things behind you. Even they did behind me. Right? And this little thought of self-doubt would tend to get louder within you. But you have to do good for our society. If you are doing job, try to have that entrepreneurial mindset. You don't need to quit your job or go to jungles like I did. Whatever work you do with full passion. You will fail. You will get up. You have to get up. Right? Because this is what our world needs. Thank you so much.